This next module is going to be about the media player, which is also referred to as the server. This is the brains that's behind everything that actually runs our advertising. This piece of equipment is about the size of your cell phone. It connects via Wi-Fi or can be hardwired into the unit. It gets attached to the back of the TV or the wall behind the TV. If you're using Velcro to attach it, then it's usually done to the wall, or you need to use an industrial strength Velcro due to the heat that comes off of the TV. We use one media player per screen, although with our previous media player we used to use it with more than one screen. But we found that to be rather dysfunctional, requiring boosters as well as a lot of additional cable, and we have the cost of this media player down so low, $250, that it does not make sense at all for us to branch that off into multiple screens. There's an instruction manual that comes with each one of these media players. And I'm actually going to walk through that manual page by page, intermixing pictures as we go. So you're now looking at our media player. It's pretty small. It's less than 4 inches by 4 inches and less than 1 inch tall. It also weighs less than 7 ounces. So it's pretty compact and you can place it just about anywhere. On the next page of the manual, it lists some of the technical specifications. And for those of you that like to get into the technical aspects of things, you may wish to pause for better review. The next page of our instruction manual provides a picture of the contents. And here's a live picture of the media server. As you can see, the entire contents of this box is sitting on an 8.5 by 11 folder. So it's quite compact. And here's the next two pictures of your instruction manual. So let's zero in on this aspect of the media player, or the power cable and the internet hookup. And here's the same screenshot except with a live picture. So if you're looking at the media player from a different angle, the power cord is right here. And then if you're going to have the internet cable plug in directly, it would go here. Otherwise, there would be no cord if you're going to be hooked into the Wi-Fi network. The HDMI cable, which plugs in the TV, goes right here. And then that plugs in directly to the TV here. And then this is a closer look as to where that HDMI cable plugs into the TV. Next up, let's look at the media player from a different angle. This is the same view except with a live picture. And as you can see, that's where the SD card goes in. This is showing an 8 gigabytes, but it can take up to at least 32 gigabytes, if not more. Currently, we have up to 8 hours of video on our media player and have not had any need for an SD card. But it's there for future expansion if we ever need it. The other two slots would be for a mouse or a keyboard, but we've actually found that it's more convenient to use the remote, which we'll talk about a little later. The mouse and the keyboard, or in this case the remote, is used to set up the media player and coordinate it with the TV screen. So the remote is something that you use on site when you're installing the TV. We've already covered this next page in your instruction manual, so let's get to the remote. The remote takes 2 AAA batteries to run. So let's look at the remote a little closer. This button is the power button, which either wakes up the player or puts it to sleep. This is the home button, which returns you to the home screen. And then this is the menu button, which gives you your options for your applications. These are the directional buttons that help you navigate the menu, and then you would press the OK for your selection. And then here you have your volume controls for your system, as well as your back buttons to return you to your previous screen. Next up in the instruction manual is the basic setup. We've already covered much of this. You have the high definition TV that can display 720p or 1080p video, and it needs at least one HDMI input. Next up is the internet network, which you would either wire in directly via cable where you would use the wireless network. The next aspect would be your control device, the remote, which navigates all the settings on your menu, or you could use a mouse or keyboard, but quite frankly, the remote is much more convenient. Next up is what they call the quick start in your instruction manual, which step 1 is connecting to the monitor or display. Step 2 is connecting to the power, turning on your TV, connecting the controls for your configuration, connecting to the internet using either Wi-Fi or LAN. If you're using Wi-Fi, then these are your instructions. If you're using LAN, then these are your instructions. Setting the date and time, launching the content management app. And then next up in the instruction manual is talking about adjusting the screen resolution, the scaling and the rotation, so you have your different steps for that. I went through that stuff pretty quickly, but the key thing to remember is that the installer handles all this stuff. But you should at least be familiar with all the things. So that wraps up this module on the media player.